Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Google Hangout with the Pillai Center. Today I have Dr. Pillai with us and he is going to answer your questions about the goddess. We will be touching upon questions like, who can connect better with the goddess, men or women? How many goddesses are there? Can we actually speak to them? And of course we'll be talking about the 4-day retreat that is happening in Florida in about 1 month from now. So thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Pillai. First, can you start out by telling us who or what is the goddess?
It's an interesting question. Who or what is the goddess? He sees both who and also an it. As who sees an anthropomorphic form, which means a human form, because gods are also like human beings. That's why the Bible says that God created human beings in his own form. There are forms. That's a very important thing that people in the 20th and 21st century should know, because we are comfortable with an unmanifest, abstract concept of God, but not a God with a form. So the goddess has a form. There are several of them. We will talk about them in a little bit. And then she is also an it, meaning she is consciousness. The goddess term confuses us somewhat, or not fully states the impact or the full meaning of the concept and manifestation of goddess. In Sanskrit, for instance, the goddess is called Chit Shakti. Chit means supernormal consciousness, a consciousness with which we do miracles. Out of Chit came Chitta, which is the human mind. All of us have only the human consciousness, mind consciousness, which is Chitta. Whereas the goddess has Chit, which is the consciousness to do anything and to know anything and to be anywhere, anytime. So Chit helps you to know everything, to do everything, and to be everywhere. You have this Chit also. Both men and women have Chit also in your consciousness. But then you only manifest Chitta, not Chitti. So you have to drop the ah sound at the end, then you get into the goddess consciousness, both men and women. Then with that consciousness, you will be able to see the goddess and also live the goddess in your own consciousness as someone who is capable of doing miracles. The miracles are not possible because we live only mind consciousness. That's why human life is ignorant. Ignorance envelops about 95% of our brain and of our consciousness, that we can't know things. We cannot do things that we want to do. So the purpose of knowing and also experiencing and living the goddess means moving from mind and sensory consciousness to the supernormal consciousness of the goddess, to be able to do miracles, to become superhuman, or to become the divine. So the goddess is also a person, maybe not the person that we see as human beings, but as a form, a divine form that is not visible to human eyes, but can be seen through the help of the third eye, through your intuition. And she's also the power, the power, not only the power of knowingness, but also the power engendered in energy that enables you to do. So the goddess is both consciousness of a higher kind, of a higher nature, and energy of a higher nature, both together.
Thank you for answering that question. That's fascinating. So you speak of this form or this goddess. Are there many goddesses, and can we connect with them? Can we speak with them?
There are innumerable goddesses. Each religion has their own goddesses, but now in the 21st century we have not been able to get in touch with them because we have come to believe that the God doesn't exist and goddesses are also not existing. Because of that, we have shut our doors to the goddesses. There are many of them. Look at the Egyptian tradition. There's Isis, Sekhmet. Or go to the Greek tradition, Roman tradition. They all have goddesses. Or go to cultures like the South American cultures, the ancient cultures of the Incas and the Olmecs and the Mayans. They all have recognized goddesses. Not only they have recognized goddesses, but they were also in touch with them. So they were able to talk to them, and they were part and parcel of their everyday living. They gave them the wisdom. The pre-Socratic philosophers were in touch with the goddesses. Their understanding came from the goddesses directly. In the Indian tradition, the difference is it is not a dead religion. All the goddesses are not part of mythology, as in the case of the Egyptian, the Greek, and the Roman traditions. They are still in worship. That's the difference. They have temples, and there are people who can channel them and then can demonstrate immense knowingness and power. Even in villages, you can go that a woman can get into the goddess consciousness, and when she is in the goddess's consciousness, she can know and predict things that are hidden to the human mind. Not only can she predict, but also she can do healing, solve problems. All these things are possible because the woman who is channeling the goddess is no more the human being. She becomes the goddess. So there are many, many goddesses. But the methodology of accessing and living the goddess is still available in India. And that's what I'm going to talk to you and also teach you how to access those goddesses and their energy in your personal life. And that's going to be the content of the Goddess 4 Days Goddess Workshop.
That's exciting. I think a lot of people will want to be able to access the goddess now that you've told us how powerful that is and how we can literally start changing our lives through her consciousness. So there's been this age-old question, we get it a lot at the Pillai Center, between men and women and the connection to the goddess. Is that connection the same? Are men or women closer to the goddess?
That's an interesting question. Now, Jung, Carl Jung, most of you know who he is. Jung was very much interested in the goddess concept, and he was not an academic psychologist. He was a man who practiced a lot of meditation himself. He went to see Raman Maharshi in the 1940s. It took a long journey by ship to go to India because he wanted to experience whatever he brought out in psychology as paradigms. I will talk about it in a minute. When Jung went to India in the 1940s, the hygiene was very poor, and there was not a lot of medical help in those days. So with diarrhea very active in his body, he went and sat in front of Raman Maharshi. Raman Maharshi never speaks, and even if he could speak, he doesn't speak English, nor can Jung understand Tamil, the language that the Maharishi knew. But then there was an understanding that came instantaneously to Jung. He gave the highest tribute ever paid to Raman Maharshi. He is the whitest spot in the white sky. No word was uttered. This is the highest teaching. This teaching can happen only when the student is right. And Jung was the right person. Personally, I value this silent teaching more than, verbal teachings. I prefer not to speak. Then if I speak, the mind comes in. If I don't speak, the goddess is present. Which one do you want? You want the goddess. You want the transmission, which is the initiation. That's going to be the component of both events that I am doing in September, that is the decision that I have made, both in New York timeline jumping program, and also the goddess program in Florida for 4 days. And I have more time in Florida, so I'll be able to do that silent transmission of the goddess's energy. Because if I express in words, it gets lost. Now, to come to the question, whether a man is closer to the goddess or a woman is closer to the goddess. The goddess is common to both. And here I started with talking about Jung. Jung made an important contribution. He said, a man has a woman's consciousness hidden, vice versa. A woman, similarly, a man's consciousness hidden in the unconscious. The reason why the man is powerful in this world is not because he's a man. It is because he is the goddess. Because the unconscious is more powerful than the conscious. You may think that you are doing everything through the conscious. It's not true. It is the unconscious that is powerful. And the man has the woman's unconscious. And Jung did a lot of work on that. He's talked about man having this anima consciousness. The man's unconscious, which is the feminine, carries, according to Jung, goddesses like Eve, Helen, Sophia, and Mother Mary too. And he wrote extensively about them. That's why a man is very powerful in this world. Whereas the woman has only a man's unconscious, that's why she's not powerful in this world. And Jung did not go further in explaining the unconsciousness of the woman. And that is what I'm going to fill up with the understanding from my own tradition of the goddess. The woman can be even more powerful than a man. That's why the woman is called Shakti in Sanskrit, which means the power. The power is not with the man, the power is with the woman. The woman has to understand it and incorporate that. And she being in the human body, the goddess, she can access it better than a man. And the time is right. After all, many, many centuries of patriarchal system, we are getting into a divine matriarchy. That's why there are so many women in my organization. It's controlled by women, not by men, because I anticipate the upcoming goddess yuga or goddess era or the goddess epoch. Just imagine the woman ruling the earth plane, becoming the rulers of different countries. There won't be any wars because a woman is loving, kind, not egocentric. Patriarchy has ruined the earth plane because there is no compassion. There's only killing. Look at what's going on in the world. Unimaginable in Egypt, Syria, Iraq, and then now Russia is starting their own thing. So there is violence everywhere. And this violence will have to end. And who is going to end is the Shakti, the goddess. So man and woman can both access goddess. And then they have to know the methodology of how each one can access this energy. And that will be also part of this course.
Wow. So it sounds like both men and women will likely be flocking to this course soon after that discourse. So this course is, people will be able to spend 5 days with you with 4 full days of teachings. I'm sure it'll be incredible, and you've let some information out about the course itself. Can you tell us what the benefits of this will be? What will people be able to go home with in terms of benefits and life-changing?
I briefly alluded to the Chit and Chitta concepts. Chit is miraculous goddess consciousness, and Chitta is human mind consciousness. Our mind intelligence is locked up into logic and understanding things in piecemeal. It cannot understand the whole picture. It cannot understand the future. And further, to make matters worse, it's tied to ego. And the ego is further, darkens the picture. And this is human conditioning. One primary goal of this program is move the human consciousness from mind intelligence to the divine intelligence of the goddess. We are going to move from Chitta to Chitti. Chit. Chit is sometimes called as Chitti also. So we are going to move from mind intelligence to the goddess intelligence, with which we will be able to do uh, miracles. The miraculous consciousness will become part of our own existence. So that is the most important benefit that will come out of this consciousness. And then there are other things like different Siddhi powers that the goddesses are associated with, that I will also highlight in this program. The first thing is how we can become the goddess and how we can own the chit and not sit in a box and not being able to get out of the box and look at our own possibilities, our own power.
Thank you. Well, that's very practical. We can take away that knowledge and that power and be empowered and be in your presence. That can literally change people's lives. So this course is happening during 9 Nights of the Goddess, during Navaratri, which is the most powerful time of the year to access the goddess. People will be with you for 4 to 5 days, really. How many goddesses are you going to introduce during this time?
At least 9 goddesses. A goddess per night. The first one will be one who will help us to clean up our mind, clean up our mind intelligence, so that we are not anymore ignorant of our future or are unable to do things that we want to do. So what is blocking us is our human ignorance, and that is tied to our karma. Our karma doesn't allow us to do anything other than what the karma allows one to do. That's why a person who starts his life as a secretary ends up as a secretary. And that is not living the goddess. That is living only your karma. The same thing with anyone else. You identify yourself with your karma. This is not only in the arena of vocation, it is also applicable to our finances. If you are $5,000 earning now, and then you end up but doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it is all because of karma. A strong hold on your body, mind, and soul. There is one goddess, and we will start with the goddess, and who will remove your karma. And I will describe how she looks like and how you can contact. All these information will be given to you along with mantras and practices for her. And then I will also talk about other goddesses, one per day, which include the goddess of money, the goddess of enlightenment, the goddess who gives you health so that you can maintain a beautiful body, a beautiful mind, and a beautiful soul. So I will go one by one, and the 9 goddesses, one per night.
Fantastic. That sounds great. So finally, you haven't been in the United States during Navaratri, or the 9 Nights of the Goddess, since 2010. What brought you back to the US during this really powerful time?
The goddess did. I did not do it. She wanted me to come to Florida and do this program. I don't do it on my own. This is her will, not my will. And why she selected it, maybe there are some people out there who need this information, who need this knowledge, who need this experience, whom the goddess, out of her omniscience, figured out, well, I have to go there and then disseminate this wisdom. That's one. Number two, I cannot do teachings randomly at random places. Each place has its own vibration. You can look at a bad neighborhood versus Beverly Hills or, or Bel Air, and then and a criminal neighborhood also. You can see the differences in energy because people pollute the environment they live with their own insecurity, with their own negative thoughts, and then that reinforces over and over again and attack the people who go there. So that what happens if you go into a bad neighborhood, you feel anxiety, you want to get out of there as soon as you can. Similarly, when you need to do a teaching, the place, the environment has to be really conducive for the job. And this time the goddess figured out that this Florida is the place. That's why I'm going there. Otherwise, I've done one or two classes in Florida a long time ago. Once I went to address a group of yoga teachers because the guys again wanted me to go there, and then there was an invitation that came by, and I went and told them that you are all yoga teachers, and if you are poor, that's not acceptable, the goddess says, because you are only charging $5, $10, and how are you going to make money? The goddess wants to change your consciousness. That's why I came. That was one occasion I came. Like this is a few years early. I don't know when I exactly came there. This is the time that the goddess said that I should go there and then disseminate this knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Answering all these questions.
It has been a great joy for me to give an introduction to this course. I look forward to seeing you in Florida next month. God bless.
So thank you all for joining us. Let me wait for that echo to go away. Thank you for. Can you turn off the volume? Okay, great. That worked. Thank you all for joining us, and of course, thank you for Dr. Pillai for inviting us to the retreat with him in Florida. He mentioned that it usually is in beautiful places. Well, we will be at a very nice hotel, as I think it's by the Waldorf, and it'll be a lovely location. There's a couple announcements that I want to make. This morning, Dr. Pillai agreed to extend the early bird pricing for the retreat by another week. So after September 1st, the price will go up to the regular price. And right now, you can save almost $300 by registering by September 1st. So if you are interested in attending this retreat, please do not hesitate. We have also locked in a low rate with this luxury hotel, and that hold on the rooms expires on September 3rd. So you do need to make some arrangements and act within this week if you would like to attend this incredible event. I have been with Dr. Pillai on retreats during Navaratri, and I have to tell you, those have been the most life-transforming of any type of retreats or events that I've attended with him. And I personally believe it's because we have both Dr. Pillai, his transmission of energy, and the presence of the goddess during her most powerful time of the entire year. So you can't go wrong. Plus, we'll be in a beautiful location, and we'll be surrounded by wonderful people who also want to hear about how the technology of the goddess will transform our consciousness, both men and women, and how we can each tap into that power that is going to help change us and in turn change the world. So you're doing it not just for yourself, but of course those around you and the world as as a whole. So if you have any questions, please contact us, office@pillaicenter.com. We are happy to assist in any way possible. Again, contact us at office@pillaicenter.com, and I hope to see that you join the retreat in September. The dates for those are September 25th evening is when we start with sessions with Dr. Pillai. You will spend all day with him on the 26th, 27th, and 28th, full days, morning to evening. He'll work out the schedule, whatever he feels is best. We will be doing these evening meditations at 2 a.m. to access the goddess in her most powerful time, during the most powerful time of the year. And you'll have your final morning with Dr. Pillai on the 29th. So the retreat spans 5 actual days, and you'll have 3 full days and 2 half days with him in his presence. So if you have been wanting to attend a retreat like this with Dr. Pillai for this much time, now is the time, and the early bird price ends on September 1st. So please act as quickly as possible. So namaste and have a wonderful week.